We all know liminal spaces.
Whoa! Damn, man, look at that, look! Whew.
Empty parking lots, hallways, abandoned buildings. Those places that all give that feeling of uncertainty. They are the focal points of things such as the back rooms, at least before it became generic horror where, oh no, the scary monster is coming after you. Point is, I love liminal spaces. I've always found them intriguing. Different people will experience different feelings when looking at them. For instance, a lot of people may be creeped out by them or feel a sense of nostalgia. I personally never really get scared of them, more so just feel the urge to explore them. There's something captivating about them to me.
Are you sure?
Now, liminal media isn't just restricted to real life. There are liminal spaces in things like paintings and video games. I mean, GTA 3 is an amazing example of this.
This don't feel right.
The old, low-quality textures, the fog, the gloomy, lonely atmosphere, it perfectly encapsulates that feeling liminal spaces give you of being alone in an area that, under normal circumstances, you wouldn't really pay much mind to. This video is going to focus on another installment of the GTA series, and that's GTA 5.
Davey!
I don't think that's a game that really needs any introduction. It's like the second most popular game of all time behind Minecraft. I've finished GTA 5 story more times than I can count at this point, but I still like to get on it from time to time and just drive around to appreciate the immense detail the game has to offer. And recently, I've discovered areas that have really good potential as liminal spaces, and I haven't really seen anybody talk about this on YouTube, surprisingly, so join me as we take a journey into the liminal spaces of GTA 5. Before we actually get into looking at the several liminal spaces I found, let's set the mood a little to bring out the best from them. I found that the easiest way to do this is to use GTA 5's director mode. Another advantage this offers is that you watching the video can replicate this for yourself. Now, with director mode, we get to do a few things. Firstly, we can get rid of any NPCs or vehicles on the road. We can't really appreciate a liminal space with car noises and voices in the background. We can also change the time of day and the atmospheric conditions. I found that the best combo was midnight with foggy weather. Of course, this isn't set in stone. You can experiment with this yourself and try out different things. I also decided that rather than just showing and analyzing the spaces, a more creative and entertaining approach would be to rank each of them on this tier list, where S tier is, peak liminal space, and D tier would be interesting but kinda fall short relative to the others. But with that, we've set the mood and are ready to look at the first liminal space I found. This is the first space. The liminality factor here is insane. The harsh orange lamp contrasting the dark environment makes it look almost staged, like there's something important about it. Not to mention, this isn't a place people would usually dwell in. Sure, people can come in and out of the door, but the environment around it is purely transitional. It's a corridor between A and B, which gives you no reason to pay any attention to it. So when you do, it makes the place all the more alluring. I find myself asking all sorts of questions. What's behind the door? Why does everything look so disused? The place feels forgotten, trapped in a moment in time. Currently, there's no one around. Everything is completely still. Right now, I'm not looking towards a past or a future, but completely immersed in an everlasting present. This was a really good start. The liminal feel is strong right off the bat. I'd say this is going straight into A tier. I want to use this as an example of what a liminal space isn't. Just because it's a tunnel with no one in it doesn't mean it automatically qualifies as one. The lighting's insanely bright and doesn't really harshly contrast with anything. I don't feel any sense of mystery or intrigue at what's at either end because, well, it's already exposed anyway. Liminal spaces feel sort of removed from the world around them. This tunnel just doesn't. It feels natural, We know its purpose of just being two pillars for this overpass, which honestly takes away any liminal aspect it may have had. With that being said, D tier. This place truly carries the essence of what a liminal space is. I could say no words and the nature of it would be communicated to you clearly. Where it goes is complete mystery. The edge recedes with the horizon. Occluded by the fog, it feels endless. The lighting guides you, however it feels trapped by the imposing darkness. The only thing I can hear are my own footsteps. This place is meant for no one to spend any extended period of time in. The repeating design of the walls makes it feel like even though you're walking, you're going nowhere at all. You feel completely isolated from the rest of humanity, entombed in the concrete labyrinth. This genuinely might be my favorite one out of everything I found. I don't think anything other than S tier would do this place justice. There's definitely an aspect of liminality here. When walking down the tunnel, I was instantly flooded with curiosity as to what lay beyond. In that moment, you start walking down the tunnel, the haze makes it feel never ending. My favorite feature definitely has to be the singular dim lights in the middle of the tunnel. It only illuminates such a small fraction of the place but draws attention in its perceived inadequacy. It also contrasts with the orange light in the background, which evokes even more curiosity. Unfortunately though, I love this place a lot, but a few things take away points. The graffiti on the wall makes it feel too familiar. Not to mention, the trash on the sides makes the place feel lived in, bringing in the possibility that there could have been activity here recently, which kinda removes from its potential liminality. Without these things, it could have been a strong S tier candidate, but I'm gonna have to go with B tier for this one. I like this place, I really do, especially how everything baked in the blue light contrasts the darkness of the tunnel. However, right off the bat, when you compare it to the other spaces we've seen, it doesn't really live up. There is a liminal aspect in the sense that the area feels transitional. The tunnel is a point between A and B, however, sadly there isn't any ambiguity about what A and B actually are. I've never felt any intrigue as to what was at the end of the tunnel because we can see it instantly and pretty much know immediately. Not to mention that the moment you look away from the tunnel, the immersion breaks completely. The window lights are on and the area is cluttered. Though the color of the lights are cool, they don't create much mood. Though there's some sense of liminality, it ultimately just feels like another part of the city, especially as soon as you look away from the tunnel. C tier. If you notice, this place looks really similar to the fourth area we explored, and that's because it is. However, I do think this one does a few things better. Now, it does have the same problems in terms of having this trash on the floor and graffiti on the walls, meaning it can't go in S tier, unfortunately, but the lighting and contrast really shines here. The white light makes the place look sterile, and the repeated sequence of light urges you to go further ahead. This is compounded by the sense of mystery of what lies ahead. The space almost compels you to go forward. It feels disconnected from everything around it, which I think gives it extra points. Its sibling space was in B tier, but I think this one deserves a spot in A tier. This one is different. However, there's parts of it that I actually really like. Of course, it features these blue lights that I think give it a unique feeling, but also the magnanimous overpasses really do something for me. It feels like I'm in a part of the city that has been left behind, forgotten. The atmosphere really boosts this. We can't really see much into the distance except for the glow of a few orange lights. It's silent and completely lifeless. However, I think that where this place falls short as a liminal space is that it's quite easy to break the immersion. Once you turn away from the blue lights, at least for me, the liminal feeling kinda disappears. That's the downside of the place being extremely open. If it were more boxed in, kind of like a tunnel, I could definitely see this one being in the high tiers. But for me, I think it deserves a spot comfortably in the B tier. We've reached the final space of this video. There were many other potential places I could have chosen to end off on, but I chose this specific place for a reason. There isn't a single car on this road, not one person in sight. The light cutting through the fog makes this place feel almost like a dream. It truly feels in between. The fog makes it impossible to see anything but a few structures in the distance. The rest of the world has faded away into obscurity. The barely visible power towers add really well to the atmosphere. Liminality is often at its peak in these utilitarian areas. This is a place that has managed to use openness to its advantage in the best way possible to feel liminal. The execution was just amazing. It feels surreal just walking up this huge road, and I think with all that in mind, this place deserves nothing but S tier. And with that, this is our completed tier list. Of course, we all have our own unique interpretations of what liminality is and what it feels like, so I don't expect anybody to fully agree with me on these placements. It ultimately goes to show that with the right atmosphere, you can find liminal spaces anywhere, in any video game.